It's official. In 2025, Gen Z, we have officially become the new millennials. Because from January 1st until 2039, we are in the Gen Beta era. And if we continue on the trajectory that we're already on right now, they, and by default the rest of the world, are screwed. Because we are now in a timeline where you can buy, quote, smart refrigerators that come with a touch screen for whatever reason. And on these fridges, you can download TikTok and scroll as long as your heart desires on them, which is what the kids of today are spending their childhood doing. Do you want to know the memories that I have from my childhood? Going fishing at the lake with my family during summertime, jumping outside on the trampoline with my siblings with a bunch of dish soap and a hose, or riding down to the local milk bar near my house on my bike to buy a bunch of lollies with coins I found around the house. My childhood was filled with adventure because, like most Gen Z childhoods, we didn't have any handheld devices. And for any of my Gen Z kids who were raised in rural towns, we also didn't really have access to the internet either. And I look back on my childhood fondly, but I just can't see this new generation of kids having experiences like that to look back on, because every corner they turn, there's something new with a screen on it. So unlike Gen Z, all of their memories are just gonna be them scrolling endlessly until they went to bed. And that is no way to live as a child, especially when you have the rest of your life to do this. And what saddens me even more is when I see videos like this where parents of today will buy their kids new bikes as a gift, but instead of letting them ride around outside like you're supposed to do on a bike, they'll instead put a video on the TV screen of somebody else's point of view riding a bike, so that it can simulate the experience of riding a bike outside for the child instead of just simply letting them go outside. Your kid probably has too much energy because despite the fact that you bought him a bike, it's being used inside, somewhere that kids of today already spend too much time in. So of course, simulating the experience isn't gonna make them tired. Actually getting them outdoors to experience the different terrains and the different speeds that nature has to offer them, that will actually burn their energy and make them tired. I just don't understand why people would buy their kids outdoor equipment that they're not allowed to use outdoors. My daughter walking into Sephora like she doesn't have negative $1.43 on her green light card. Then why are we continuing to let her buy useless products that she doesn't need then? That is a full bag of expensive products from Sephora. Not only is she way too young to need anything from there, but she's too young to be going into debt for things that she doesn't need. I understand that she's only overdraft by $1.50, but when I was a kid, if I couldn't pay for something that I wanted, my parents didn't allow me to have it. Period. I would have to do more chores or tasks that they wanted me to do and save up longer if I wanted something, because my parents wanted to teach me the importance of money and how to be responsible with it.
I'm a 24-year-old second grade teacher. I'm pretty young in the teaching community, but there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that has made me feel older as a teacher than today when I was watching Toy Story 2 during a lunch bunch with some of my second graders, and we got to the scene in the movie where the little newspaper boy rides around on his bike and throws newspaper on the front porch of the house. And one of the little girls watching turned around to me and said, "Miss Smith, if a little boy ever threw trash like that at my house, I would yell at them." I said, "That's not trash, it's a newspaper." And they said, "What's a newspaper?"
Well, doesn't that just make you feel old? Not only do some kids not even know what a newspaper boy is because they've never seen one before, as all of their news either comes from YouTube Shorts or TikTok, but they don't even know what a newspaper itself even is. That is genuinely upsetting. When I was a kid, there was always somebody who was delivering a newspaper to your mailbox every morning. A lot of women in my area especially took this job on because of the amount of exercise they could do while on the job. So when I watched that movie as a kid, it was such a nothing scene to me because I knew what that kid was doing. And I knew what a newspaper was because my mum was one of those women. So we would constantly have mountains of newspaper in our house. So this wasn't an unknown concept to me. But not only are newspapers now a dying form of journalism, but the job of delivering them is also a dying job because you can just get everything you need to know off of this thing. There were also other teachers in that comment section who said that they had to explain what a library was to their students because they didn't know what a library was.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
When I was a kid in school, we lived in a pretty remote area. So when the mobile library came to us at our school, that was like a freaking excursion. What do you mean? A trip to the library doesn't exist anymore. And because of the instant gratification of the streaming era that we're currently in, they're not used to getting one episode of a TV show per week. They're used to getting an entire season all at once because that's how they grew up. Does it suck to have to wait every single Friday for a new episode of Severance? Yes, absolutely. But does it give me something to look forward to at the end of every single week? Absolutely it does. It's just really scary that the future of the human race is currently under the spell of numerous screens all at the same time because they physically can't watch TikTok or YouTube without having stimulation from Roblox on another screen, or just straight up can't keep focused on just one individual game, so they need to be playing 3 at the same time. When I and my siblings were the age of those kids in that video, the most screen time that I had was on a single TV, and it was boring to be stuck inside watching TV as a kid. My younger brother and I always just wanted to go play outside instead because unless Adventure Time or regular show was airing, we didn't really care to watch the TV.
Read this word.
Batwin.
What?
Batwin.
What?
Batwin.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
It's gonna be like B.
Is that a W?
No, that's an H.
Y'all, we have middle school aged kids right now who don't know how to read the word between. They don't know how to say between, and they use a completely unrelated letter in their spelling of the word. I would understand if this was a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old learning how to spell, but these kids are over the age of 10 years old. Like, between? Are you kidding me?
I did not realize how bad the iPad kid epidemic was until yesterday. We've all heard of the issues with these kids that are being raised on iPads. When I tell you I was absolutely flabbergasted at the interaction that I had with a child yesterday, I just have no words for it. I'm a bartender at a resort, and this family came up to the bar to order their food. One of the kids, who's about 8 or 9 years old, asked what flavor of Dippin' Dots we had, so I handed her a menu. This way she could read the flavors, and I was going to continue helping the rest of the party. When I tell you that I handed her the menu and she looks at me dead in the eyes and goes, I can't read. I was left absolutely speechless for a few seconds. You're gonna tell me around 2nd, 3rd grade, she can't read?
And that is just another example of a 9-year-old, not a toddler, a 9-year-old not knowing how to read. For reference, this is what the Dippin' Dots menu looks like. It is incredibly easy to read. There is 4 words at most for one flavor, and that's too hard for a 9-year-old to read. You're telling me that a 9-year-old is struggling to read the words vanilla or chocolate? They struggle to understand what strawberry or cookies and cream means? That is terrible! Because when I was that age, 9 years old, I knew how to read just fine. I loved books like The Strange Case of Origami Yoda, The Brilliant World of Tom Gates, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid, of course, and this really whimsical book called Liesel and Poe. Gen Z was reading full books at 9 years old, but the 9-year-olds of today can't even read a menu. And then somebody on Twitter said, my students said that if TikTok goes down, they won't know how to find music. Someone suggested using YouTube, but the response was, I don't know what to look up, which I think sums everything up. I don't even know what to say to this, but it's gone to the point that because they're so reliant on TikTok, they quite literally don't know how to use any other types of a search engine. And that is even scarier. There's also a trend on TikTok where people upload themselves playing math games on Roblox where you guess the answer to the equation on the screen. And the entire group of people get eliminated because they stand on the answer 28 when given 25 plus 7. Only one person jumped onto the correct answer. Oh, but Hayley, he moved at the last second, so he cheated. He didn't cheat. You can't cheat math. You can do 25 plus 7 in your own head. If these kids all jumped on the number 28 because somebody else did, then that is their own fault for not knowing how to do basic math. And also, they just seem to have no concept of time whatsoever, because when somebody commented that being 12 in 2018 was great, a bunch of Gen Alphas responded to this comment by saying, damn! Goddamn, Unc! How were the dinosaurs, Unc? Did you meet the prehistoric humans, Unc? Oh my god. The word Unc. Oh, it pisses me off so much. I was 14 in 2018. If a person who was 12 in 2018 is prehistoric, then what the hell does that make me? And how old are these literal children that they think an 18-year-old now is Unc? Don't be ridiculous. Just because you were born in 2013 doesn't mean the rest of us have to suffer. Then, even crazier, another Gen Alpha got into a comment section and said that, quote, middle school in 2014 is crazy. Talking as if early Gen Z are baby boomers. What, you're telling me that you think being 11 or 12 only 10 years ago is crazy to you? What goddamn planet do you live on where being 21 or 22 years old is of senior citizen age? Do you remember that one clip from Regular Show that we all watched as kids where this kid says to Mordecai, oh my god, you're like a grandpa, and Mordecai's like, grandpa, dude, I'm in my 20s. We watched that as children, and we are now currently in that position, Gen Z, right now. Sorry that in 2014 I was getting my money up and you were just learning how to walk. That's not my fault. Like, it's just sad to see that Gen Z, you know, those of us who are adults, are the ones who are outside playing during family functions and making memories with our loved ones, while Gen Alpha is wasting their childhood away by being inside, not talking to each other and playing on their iPads. And that is what really upsets Gen Z, because we didn't know at the time, but it seems like we were the last generation to have played outside. Because now every single generation that comes after Gen Z spends their childhood on Roblox for 8 hours a day. The adults should be inside while the kids should be outside. But it's not these kids' fault though, man, because these disgusting parents of theirs will make videos where they say, POV, your toddler is trained to make content. And in the first shot, the toddler is looking tired. And then as soon as her parents signal her to start dancing, she immediately starts dancing with them with a smile on her face because she's been trained to do so. This is absolutely vile. How can you get on the internet and openly and very proudly say that you've trained your toddler to make content that not only should she not be making, but she absolutely hates making. And that is the depressing future for a concerning amount of children now. Because when my siblings and I were that age, do you want to know what our parents were doing? Buying us toys to play with. Yeah, that is exactly what you should be doing for this poor girl. Not creating jobs for a literal baby who can barely, if at all, read or write a proper sentence. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know I've been in really random locations for this week, but my bedroom is currently under construction. So until it's done, I'm gonna be in the most random backgrounds imaginable. Anyways, guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Mwah! I love you guys so much. And I did the order of my outro wrong. Anyways, bye guys!